the Lost World Minute, the Minute by Minute podcast, reviewing the 1997 sequel to Jurassic Park, 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're talking about minute 16 of the Lost World. David, how are you been, sir?
I've been good.
Alright, so this is the second minute we got with the RVs in Eddie's workshop. Now, in the novel, they were a lot sleeker. I don't think they had the bars on the windows or anything like that, but they were described as like subway carriages.
No, I think they had the bars on the windows, but they were electrified.
Oh, yes, the security defense.
It was like a bear, electrified for bears or something like that, and they really amped it up.
Yeah, the Faraday cage comes to mind, but I don't know if that would be... Because normally that just keeps radio signals out. It doesn't actually send... Oh, it does send electricity around the outside of it, so... Yeah, but they do... it has some offensive weapons, or defensive weapons as well, like gas grenades. I think there's even a... Well, there's definitely some nerve gas and stuff like that, which is a bit dark and interesting.
Yep.
But it also fully electric, both vehicles. It and they had the Ford Explorer return in the novel, even though it wasn't in Jurassic Park because they were Land Cruisers. But we got the Ford Explorer, everything electric. They also had a motorcycle as well, which was electric, and it hung on a rack on the back of the Explorer that could be attached and detached whenever they needed the motorcycle.
Interesting thing about the Challenger trailers versus the movie trailers is that the back trailer was mostly used for storage. I think they mentioned there's some spare tires and extra equipment and stuff in there. And there's the main trailer, the first trailer, that was had all the living quarters and the lab and all that stuff.
Yeah, because when in the novel the front half goes over and not the back half. And, while they hang in there, they actually, Sarah or Malcolm has some sort of acid dripping on them from the lab equipment.
And I actually devised a theory that Michael Crichton was a Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan because of that scene where and it's kind of far-fetched, but I mean it's a fun fan theory where Malcolm is singing Dixieland and then he's singing Alexander Ragtime Band, and both of which are mentioned in Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Carnival 9. Like I said, it's kind of far-fetched, but I don't know.
Yeah, it'll work. It works. But the other thing I mentioned in the last minute too, that the Challenger, it was packed up, even with the Explorer, packed up in 2 shipping containers and dropped on the island by Huey helicopter instead of taken by barge like we got here, which I've always had a problem with. Just the vehicles are supposed to be large, but 40-foot shipping containers aren't that big unless there was some sort of custom container Eddie made for it to go into. But
Connex boxes maybe.
Yeah, because we know they go to the airport, I think in San Francisco or San Diego or somewhere. They go to the airport and meet the helicopters before flying to the island. So, but again, novel, a lot of that stuff gets flushed out. You don't get to see that in the movie because get to the islands.
On the novel, it's Dodgson's team that comes by barge.
Yep, with a Wrangler, a red Jeep Wrangler. Where we've seen one of those before. I'm so disappointed that whole stuff got cut out. That would have made the movie just that little bit better. Alright, well if that's all you got on the trailers, we'll get into minute 16.
Alright.
As the 15th minute of the Lost World ended, we get our first look at the mobile command centre, the RVs, the Mercedes AAVs, and we got our first introduction to Eddie Carr. At the 15-minute mark, Nick Van Owen emerges from the van, walking back to meet Eddie and Malcolm. He thanks Eddie for the 2-minute warning. At 15 minutes and 3 seconds, Eddie introduces Nick Van Owen to Ian Malcolm. Nick's our photographer, Ian's our Ian. At 15 minutes and 8 seconds, Malcolm asks Nick what his background is. Nick explains wildlife photography mainly, and combat, and you name it. At 15 minutes and 18 seconds, Nick tells Malcolm He also done some work at Greenpeace. When asked why he went to Greenpeace, Nick replies, women. Malcolm says to Nick, that's very noble. Nick replies, yeah, noble was last year. This time I'm getting paid. Hammond's check cleared, or he wouldn't be going on this wild goose chase. At 15 minutes and 32 seconds, Malcolm speaks up. Where you're going in the world is the only place where the geese chase you. At 15 minutes and 37 seconds, we begin to hear a little girl's voice, Dad, 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 and Kelly Malcolm appears on screen. 15 minutes and 52 seconds, we cut upstairs, where Kelly spins in a chair saying she doesn't even know this woman. Malcolm hands her a piece of paper with the babysitter's name on it. At 15 minutes and 55 seconds, Kelly says that she doesn't even have Sega, and that she's such a troglodyte. Malcolm replies, cruel but good word use. And this ends the 16th minute of The Lost World. Alright, minute 16. We got our first look at Nick Van Owen last week, but now we get some lines from him. Vince Vaughn. One character from the past I'd love to see return to the Jurassic franchise. I think he's got probably more of a reason to come back than a lot of the other cast. Just being a photographer, whether he's still doing that now or not. But Malcolm asks what his background is or his speciality, and he says wildlife photographer, combat, you name it. He's been to Rwanda, Chechnya, Bosnia. So he's definitely been in the thick of things combat-wise.
Yeah.
Which makes him capable. I'm surprised after all that he's not packing a gun or something in this.
Well, Hammond probably told him no guns or something, you know?
Yeah, true.
Just bring that one Lindstrad air rifle.
Yeah. Or, yeah, it might have been that you've got all this equipment, you won't need it, you'll be safe.
Yeah.
But I think at this point, too, they don't actually believe that they're going to see what they've been told they're going to see there either, so...
Yeah. They still really don't believe it except for Malcolm because he's seen it.
Yeah. Yep. He also done some volunteer work with Greenpeace. And when Malcolm asks what drew him there, Nick replies, women, 80% female Greenpeace. And Malcolm replies, that's very noble, yeah. But no, Noble's last year, this time Hammond's check cleared, and that's why he's going on this wild goose chase. And we get the next trailer line from Malcolm. This is the only place in the world where the geese chase you.
I always love that line.
Yeah, and we get the Eddie sort of being the moderator between the two, introducing the two. Nick's our field photographer, Ian's our Ian, which makes me wonder how long have these two known each other, or how long has Malcolm been hanging around the warehouse saying, "Come on, let's get going, we've got to get down there." Because just the way Richard Schiff's delivering the lines here and sort of talking about Malcolm being our Malcolm, he's definitely Malcolm. It's either a callback to Jurassic Park and we know what the character's like, or these two have known each other a lot longer than it appears on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the whole time Nick's talking to, or Malcolm's grilling Nick about what he's been up to. Eddie's standing in the background with the satellite phone, still trying to get it work. Presumably he's still trying to dial Sarah, or he's just trying to get a dial tone. But it even ends by the end of it, he starts tapping it as well, just to see if we'll get it to work. Which is just a great little thing off, like behind the scenes that he's sitting there doing, just to instead of sitting there nodding or listening to the conversation. And also with Malcolm's line about the only place in the world where the geese chase you. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of places in Africa where you'll get attacked by predators.
Oh, definitely.
Or not just Africa, but you go hunting Kodiak bears in Alaska or something, and you're in danger there.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get to our introduction to Kelly Malcolm, Vanessa Lee Chester, one of many daughters that Malcolm has. And I hadn't been familiar with her acting career. She has been busy since '97, and there's a few films slated to come out this year, 2017. But I haven't seen them, and they're sort of not something I'd go after.
Yeah, same. I haven't really seen her anything since The Lost World, actually.
Yeah, yep. But she has been busy, which has been good. This has opened some doors for her. And when we go upstairs, Malcolm gives a number for a babysitter, saying he's going out of town for a few days, and the babysitter doesn't have Sega and is a troglodyte, which I had to Google. I thought it was an insulting mark, because in the next minute, Malcolm says cruel but good word use, and I suppose it is one explanation, or the way wording can go is someone who lives in a cave, ignorant, old-fashioned, or basically a caveman.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have Sega, so she's a caveman.
Yep. Of course, Sega sponsored the first 2 Jurassic Park movies, so.
Which is
if
interesting.
You're a total troglodyte.
Yeah, I got to go back. I'm trying to think where Sega was in 96, 97. Because the Dreamcast and that was all earlier, like 93, 94, if I believe. And it was sort of this. Well, Sony was coming on board with the PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
I probably
I think the PlayStation 2 a couple years later. I think around or a little bit after 97.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Atari, Nintendo, and Nintendo had the GameCube. I think that was 2000 or something. Yeah. Oh no, that might have been 64. Because GoldenEye was on 64, so that'd have to be around the same time as this. I should have Googled that. Anyway, so yeah, we cut with the upstairs scene with Kelly and Malcolm starting their little debate they're going to have there about a babysitter. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I think we're good.
Alright guys, let's get the hell out of here.
Contact details are on the website, thelostworldminute.com. You can email feedback to thelostworldminute@gmail.com, Facebook, The Lost World Minute, Twitter @thelostworldminute, and Instagram, The Lost World Minute.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, very easy to remember. David, thank you for joining me for this record.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back. I've been Brad.
I'm Dave.
And we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
It is absolutely imperative that we work with the Costa Rican Department of Biological Preserves to establish a set of rules for the preservation and isolation of that island. These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help. And if we could only step aside and trust in nature, life will find a way.